Hello, dear friends. Coexistence is more difficult every day due to intolerance towards the opinions of other human beings. Opinion piece. Doomsayers, truth seekers, frequency clash, conspiracy theorists. Transition started in 1750. Separation of wheat from chaff. Why is there so much discomfort? The old frequency becomes unbearable. Intolerance seems to increase every day. Why is it so difficult to live together today? Do not feel superior or inferior to others. The greatest planetary transition in history. Let's start. The so called conspiracy theorists are classified as doomsayers when the opposite is true. They are seekers of truth. A doomsayer is someone who is pessimistic, defeatist, or catastrophic, who predicts evil or misfortune. But messengers of light predict blessings because they are positive and optimistic. In the final phase of the current cycle, those who have awakened are tasked with reporting the truth they have discovered without offending anyone. You can't build a new world with zombies. Nothing can stop a planetary transition because it is part of the universal evolution of the world, according to Peter B. Mayer. The Earth transition is estimated to last 3 centuries and began around 1750. So we are heading toward the end of the planetary transition, which means everything is accelerating. When we say now, this means the present time, not necessarily today, this month, or this year. Regardless of whether the souls make their ascension or not, the Earth will fulfill its transition project because it is part of the divine plan, according to Byron Froese. The energetic adjustment is being done step by step to slowly raise the Earth's frequency from 7.8 to 48th. To make this transition, many souls made a plan to incarnate now. Others have chosen not to go through this process. Only a third of the population has decided to abandon material life to participate in this transformation. We are now experiencing the energetic phenomenon of frequency change. Intensity. Planet Earth and humankind on it are experiencing a unique moment of change called a planetary transition. Everything will be very intense. Profound changes are taking place in all known and unknown sectors, as the old Earth dissolves to make way for its replacement for our new planetary home. Everything that has been taught, known, believed, and practiced will gradually cease to exist in a few years. A lot has already changed, but because these changes are measured and timed, most people don't realize it. Compare it to your hair or your nails. They grow constantly, but you don't notice it until they are too long. This is how the change from the old to the new Earth occurs. The world has reached a conjunction in our civilization. The globalists have caused enormous havoc in our society, and now they are panicking because their behavior is recognized all over the world. This is our last chance to save our interests and our civilization. It is now or never. Repair. Repairing the damage caused to all the people of our planet may take a long time, but everything will eventually be corrected, at least if humankind awakens en masse and regains control, with the introduction of the new monetary system and the law of Earth. There will be no state of pain and suffering, nor any form of scarcity. All dominant powers are dissolved. Competition ceases to exist and gives way to cooperation. QFS is a transitional financial system used during a transition period between the present and the coming decades. In the somewhat more distant future, any type of currency will no longer be necessary. With the immediate activation of the QFS, the Galactic Alliance is transforming the central banking system, designed to maintain debt slavery. The little-known reality is that the QFS has operated for over a year in parallel with the central banking system and has resisted many hacking attempts. Many were caught red-handed with illegal money transfer. It is even less known that this new system was invented in preparation for ending the financial slavery of debt and population control. Spiral. When we realize that the universe moves in a spiral as do galaxies, it becomes easier to understand that everything is cyclical. Permanent motion sustains life in all parts of the infinite cosmos. It's no different here. Souls still in Earth's psychosphere can also now experience the acceleration of this galactic spiral. Since the age of Aquarius began, in addition to being within the photon belt, the spiral has now drawn this solar system inwards a range corresponding to 1 octave. This means that we are now closer to the light emanating from the central sun, and this makes all the difference from now on. An octave means just over 12%, but when it comes to light or energy, it's a very big difference. Additionally, light that was first classified as photonic is now classified as adamantine light, also known as crystalline light. The light creates everything that exists on each planet. It is also natural that everything changes here from now on. Who am I? You are a spark of light from this creative source. Only now you don't remember, but soon you will. The soul is the consciousness that resides in each human body. So you are a consciousness embodied in this body, a temporary kernel shell that allows you to experience this school of souls, called the worlds of trials and atonement. This school is also now going to change to a higher level, that is, to a world of regeneration. According to your frequency, you will be elevated to a higher level, which is nothing other than we call ascension. A large part of humanity is in this group that will go one turn higher in the evolutionary spiral. However, many have not yet achieved the lightness of consciousness that allows them to fly to a higher level. Discomfort. If you find yourself in the timeline of the new Earth, it is natural that you will go through moments of turbulence, since the exchange of energy in this spiral produces various symptoms, especially the feeling of being overwhelmed. Despite, despite the discomfort it brings, it is a necessary and very interesting phase for the ascending soul. But another issue is the change that every human being who is prepared for ascension feels in himself, in his emotional body. It is not uncertainty as in ordinary practical life, but an inner discomfort, as if it were a mixture of fear, trepidation, anxiety, and uncertainty. And in this search, each one finds a series of information that largely contradicts each other. This is where so much discomfort. Why why is there so much discomfort these days? Excuse me. A mixture of strange and not always understood sensations occur daily. The seesaw has never moved as much as it does now. Although most of you are capable of reaching higher frequencies, it is still difficult to maintain the higher vibrations for a long time. Two timelines are leading the end of the planetary transition. One will continue with the frequency of the new Earth, and the other will take with it all the souls who still prefer to maintain the frequency of the third dimension. The new Earth will host all souls who are already raising their frequency, as they begin to abandon the vibration of the old Earth, and will become increasingly able to accept the higher frequency, consistent with a world of regeneration. And the timeline that takes the soul there is moving further and further away from the timeline that goes in the opposite direction. Souls attuned to the timeline that takes them to another planet of trials and reconciliation Also feel the shock caused by the frequency difference between the two. The light that is already felt in the elevated timeline blind the eyes of those who have not tuned in, because they still prefer the darkness of their consciousness. Issues. Many people wonder why it is so difficult to live together today. Although the two timelines are going in opposite directions, they have started from the same point, and it will be some time before they finally separate. Since the frequencies are also opposite, there is friction due to interaction between the two. However, once they at a certain distance, the electromagnetic field of one will stop interacting with the other. This necessary distance does not require much time, although, as already mentioned, there are souls who are still at the starting point and therefore intermingled with each other. There are also souls at the front of each line who no longer interact. This explains why so many people are no longer part of your life. Remember that many people are also appearing in your life. They come together naturally due to their affinity across frequencies. Later, there will be no souls around you with other frequencies. When everyone will be on their own train, an interference between the two camps will cease. Until then, others will continue in this frequency battle. This is why you feel uncomfortable in the presence of certain people in your life, or even if you don't live with them, their actions somehow affect you. In fact, for those who are on the new frequency, it becomes increasingly unbearable to live with vibrations of the old timeline now receding. You must understand that in the same way, souls going in the opposite direction to the new earth cannot tolerate the higher energies that emanate from those who are ascending. It has been said here many times that those who enjoy the shadows cannot stand the light. And when you intensify your light, you can you cause them discomfort. So we can see that discomfort is felt on both sides. Intolerance. This explains how intolerance seems to increase every day. Living with certain people or certain situations can cause confrontations. Those who remain longer in the wells of trials and reconciliation are not aware of all this and cannot understand what is happening. But you who are in the frequency that leads to the new earth already have the consciousness to at least understand all this change. And because of your understanding, more action is also required on your part, especially in terms of tolerance and acceptance of this necessary reality, for the sake of the change of souls in this planetary school. If you do not understand this, you will end up delaying your departure on this train to the fifth dimension. Every time you argue or hold on to situations with those who still vibrate at the old frequency, you will remain on the boarding platform longer and cooperate with the energy field opposite to yours. No one benefits from this delay, so take advantage of this moment and stop wasting precious time. Free yourself from ties and old beliefs. Realize that not everyone in your life is getting on the same train as you. Understand that in the near future, distant or not, a reunion may occur between the souls that have been here, but that the separation of the wheat from the chaff is a necessary condition to close this great planetary cycle. It is always your decision to stay more or less time in this uncomfortable zone. Trust. The recommendation is to trust the divine plan. Also trust in the individual plan of your soul, for this plan was established by you before you incarnated into this physical life. Your consciousness expanded there, in the astral plane, because then you were in the fourth dimension, and you choose the best option to rise now in your ascension. Trust your intuition, because it is the voice of the soul. Only your soul truly knows what is best for you now. Seek information, but discard certain concepts if you realize that they do not fit with your soul's desires. Learn to wait for signs that will point you in the right directions for your soul's needs. Avoid comparisons because what works well for someone else may not work well for you, and vice versa. Don't impose anything on anyone, and don't let anyone persuade you. You are an incarnated soul, that is, a unique consciousness within the infinite universe. You have come here to have this unique experience, just like all the other souls who have come through time. No two experiences will be the same, so recognize your importance without comparisons. Never feel inferior, much less superior to others. You are unique, for you are a starseed that will recreate everything that Source created you to create. You are a divine spark. You just haven't discovered it yet, but the times of revelation are near. Trust in the divine plan. You have already come very far. In fact, you are a winner. I am Vital Frosty, and my mission is enlightenment. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.